But we'll see. Still really open. You have the combination on hand as well to roll in with a root follow-up from the Oracle. Can be devastating in lane if they want to go for some first blood action, but Latam defenders do pick up the Ursa for themselves this time. So it looks like a bit of a shakeup in their cores, and it's their turn to show the strength of Fuzzy Wuzzy towards the side of 5ManMidas.
Yeah, I think the Ursa pick's nice. I mean, there's so many disables, but you have Enrage. Just run through Dream Coil, break the coil with the Enrage, and it doesn't last as long. Nor does the roll, nor does the Fortune's End. It does seem like a very nice pick. Now, mind you, you don't know what the offlane of 5ManMidas is yet, but it is very likely the Earth Spirit is going to be part of the duo in that offlane. And as the Ursa, if Earth Spirit rolls in, he's basically just dead. So there's not much he can do to get away, but 5ManMidas, they go back for a PL now. Pretty interesting into the Viper. I still think it's going to be a very difficult lane, but I suppose having the Doppel can be impactful enough to get you out of a sticky situation with the Clockwork Viper. And of course, later on, up against the Ursa, he has Battle Fury that can be enough if you have the right angle to kind of get rid of all the illusions. Overall, I guess they just assume the PL is going to be able to deal with the Ursa later on.
Yeah, I think as the game scales on, the PL is going to be a bit overwhelming on the Ursa, especially once you get the diffusal timing. Ursa with no mana is just kind of stuck in a very bad spot. So you do have to watch that here from 5ManMidas. The laning, I think the Viper up against a Viper, we tend to see PLs aimed for the Lance first. So the cooldown on level 1 Doppel is actually fairly long, which means you won't have that get out of jail card for free too often. So you have to be cautious. The Oracle has to be on point with saving him. So there's a lot of pressure here on Boons to help equalize that lane. If it is going to be an offlane Viper, I have a feeling Latin defenders might just flex it that way. Look for something else down mid to face that puck. I'm thinking Embers in the pool. So that would be one way to deal with the PL as well. Just having Maelstrom with a Sleight of Fist can melt those illusions fast if you are worried about the PL being a massive issue here.
Sure. Might be the option they go for as well. It's definitely a nice catch for the Oracle and the Earth Spirit and even the Park, just having those chains. That being said, I believe you can still phase shift through chains if I'm not incorrect, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I remember seeing a Reddit thread about this the other day, and people were complaining about how ridiculous it is that Puck can just get out of any situation. I guess it doesn't matter. You have Yules, you have Blink, you have phase shift, whatever else you want on the Puck. Still Latam defenders. Final ban out, 35 seconds reserve time to make this ban. They are looking to ban out some offlane heroes, and we saw the Ursa, not the Ursa, but rather the Veno being removed, and now the Bat Rider as well, just to really make sure this Ursa doesn't have too much of a difficult time. What do you want up against this Ursa? Your 5ManMidas.
Not many options left in the offlane. Pango's gone. There's a Mars, I suppose, if you want to.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you're really going to enjoy that up against the Ursa. Once he pops in Rage, even if you get the spear off, it's not going to be impactful enough. The Arena could be a death trap for yourself instead, as Bulwark is nice, but Ursa, again, just doesn't care because he has Fury Swipes. So he's still going to rip right through to Mars, given enough time.
Could go for something like a Sand King, just trying to abuse Sandstorm, maybe abuse Caustic Finale up against the Ursa. Of course, one Sentry Ward is probably going to make it so you can't lane anyway, but what works with the Earth Spirit here up against the Ursa? Like, it's a very difficult scenario for the offlane.
Yeah, it's hard one to close out. I mean, there's the weird choice of Razor as well that we saw from Luki. They could give that a shot, although you get stuck with, again, a lack of team fight. Basically just Puck and Earth Spirit Magnetize for wide AoE control. But sometimes that is enough. So if 5ManMidas is confident, a Razor would annoy the Ursa, making it hard for him to find the last hits. It's fairly tanky as well, given enough time and farm. So it can be your frontliner. And Oracle actually does work really nice with a Razor. You don't have a natural target here for your False Promise. You would like the PL, but that just makes it obvious which the real PL is. So something like a Razor and off, I guess, can maximize that Oracle if they wanted to. They go to Mars instead. Safer pickup. Gives them team fight. Ursa doesn't care for it too much. But you can still kind of take control of the lane. There's still the threat of getting the spear off, then getting the follow-up rolls. Ursa in laning is not the tankiest. So there is some punishment that can come out here from 5ManMidas. Latam defenders, do they stick with the Viper mid? Do they flex it off and take something else mid? And they could still do it with this last pick.
I think they are going to throw the offlane Viper here, and I think you just go for something else mid. The Viper does do pretty well up against the Puck, I guess, and if you are going to run that 1v1 matchup in the mid lane, I don't think it's going to be enough to really stop the Puck. But I don't think anything stops Puck.
No. Just way too strong laning. Still way too good on stats, despite the slight nerfs. And we do see the Night Stalker. This is spicy.
Love it. I think this is one of the heroes that people kind of underestimate in this current meta. It's really darn strong. One of the beauties of this Night Stalker into the PL, you get the Aghanim Scepter, which is actually pretty standard these days, and you have the AoE Void, which can clear through the illusions quite easily. And of course, you're going to have the Crippling Fear to silence up the PL, so he won't be able to doppel away. I think I really like this pick. Along with the Viper, the Clockwork, the Ursa, you've got this draft that doesn't need much time to be online and ready to go. Once they are online, it's very hard to slow them down.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to stop that constant aggression from Latam defenders. Not many long cooldowns here for them to keep those fights up. Longest is probably Dark Ascension from the Night Stalker and Lion's Finger early on.
Sure.
But beyond that, your Viper can keep running. Aretas again in the Clockwork. We saw this yesterday. He plays a mean clock as well. So you're going to have to watch out from that from 5ManMidas. Another interesting draft. Nothing too spicy like, say, a Visage this time. But Night Stalker is still rather underrepresented. We've seen it a couple of times only. It is highly effective. Although, to be fair, the only times we see Night Stalker is into, say, Storm. Right? That tends to be the moments we see the offlane Night Stalker picked up. Nothing that big to worry about with the silence. I guess Puck still doesn't enjoy it. We'll see if that same value does come out from Valky, and if the Ag's timing for that Night Stalker is going to be on point. As you mentioned, that's going to be their best way, more than likely based on spells, to deal with the PL illusion spam. So you would want that to be timely here from Valky.
You know, John, I haven't talked about this in a while, but I'm still so scared every day that I cast or play Dota that the Earth Spirit nerf is coming. Well, we're seeing Earth Spirit so often now. And the last time I checked, he's still sitting around a 50% win rate, so it's nothing really to write home about. But you know Ice Frog, John, he's watching very carefully with Earth Spirit. You know he's got his finger on the nerf button already. He's waiting to go. Just waiting for one little reason. Let's get just one good Earth Spirit performance, John, and it's all over.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be nerfed as hard as, say, Tinker is right now. Just how dead that hero is.
Don't bring up Tinker, John. I don't want to hear that name.
But at the least, you won't have Earth Spirit get, trashed like Tinker. So I don't think you'll ever need to worry about that, Mike.
That's because he was already trashed multiple times, John. There's not much more you can do with the poor man.
Poor Earth Spirit. Still, I mean, at least he gets picked up. He's still highly effective.
I still cry about the days that Boulder Smash used to stun, John. Oh, man, those were the days. When you could stun a whole team and then silence them straight after. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God, no. Stop it, Mike.
It's beautiful,
That's a
John.
nightmare. No,
it was beautiful.
No, bad Mike. Bad Mike. Also, before we start, happy birthday, Dickie. This is the last time you're going to get the greeting. Chat, make sure to tag him to wake him up, because he's got work later, so keep him up.
He's got work in like 3 hours, doesn't he? It's like 5 a.m. where he is. He's crying about it as well. He said he was working 17 hours on his birthday. Sorry, Dougie. It's your birthday, mate. No sleeping for you, sir. Stay up and party.
Absolutely not. And there is a party up top once more. 5ManMidas starting off with a tri-lane. Of course, you could just easily TP out Boons, but you've got Boons around the Oracle, is along with Ikester on that Earth Spirit and Monster on the Mars. Aretas is around with Cockahoo on the Ursa, so Clock Ursa lane. Not the most amazing, but once you get some levels up, you trap a couple of heroes in the cogs with, say, a level in Fury Swipes, you can melt through a couple of these heroes.
You can. Fortune's End is going to come out onto Cockahoo, but they haven't got the angle to really go for a gank, and I mean, Eridus is there anyway with the Battery Assault. Just being a nuisance. I mean, I don't really think there's that much the Clock can do in this lane. I suppose once you do have the cogs, like you mentioned, you do have some kill potential with Cook-a-Hook. Apart from that, Eridus, I think he's just going to make sure that Cook-a-Hook just stays safe. As I say that, they are going to go for a battery assault onto Monster, but with all the creeps around, you can't really hold him down, so it's time for the Clockwork to go and start pulling some creeps.
Yeah, and it's time to equalize that lane. Gives us time to look down mid. You've got Esk on the puck up against Nanana's Viper. So far, a good start for a Viper, and this is the one thing that I guess the puck doesn't quite enjoy. The the damage that the Viper does let out is substantial, very hard to play up against here, and Esk is already sort of struggling. So Nanana controlling the lane well. Should be easier for Esk to sneak around to those power runes early on, though. It does have the mobility with the orb. We'll see if Latam Defenders does manage to get the supports in to prevent that bottle refill for Esk. Going to be important if they want to slow that puck down. And, of course, those supports are going to be down bot, the last few ones. Moonlight, along with Valky on the line, and the Night Stalker. They are laning up against Lies on PL and Boons on that Oracle. Not much potency with Oracle PL. It's a very defensive lane, although the stun comes in.
It comes in, but
not much kill potential as well.
I suppose you've got the mana drain, so you may as well throw the stun out every chance you can get and just be a nuisance. That's what it's all about in this lane, I think, here for Moonlight. Stop the pulls happening here from Boons, and he does aggro the creeps away very nicely. As long as Valky gets his levels up, as long as Moonlight doesn't soak too much XP, you're going to be pretty happy. I do believe Valky will want to get to the stage where he does have the Ags up, and that way, this PL really can't do much. But mid lane, Esk is going to survive on 10 HP. This Viper really starting to kick in now. That level 2 poison attack, plus the toxin. Going to try and abuse that orb to get some CS, but it's going to be a very tough time as the levels go up on this Viper. Meanwhile, top, Eridus and Cook-a-Hook both falling very low, but Aikster doesn't have the role right now, so he can't really secure a kill.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the constant aggression from 5ManMidas up top. They want to keep applying that pressure while the Ursa is not able to get some counter punishment out. And it is going to be a while for Cook-a-Hook to hit that point. So this is a bit of the laning power spike here for 5ManMidas. Just trying to get as much damage out onto that Ursa.
Aikster needs to find a way out. Actually does get the roll, and now Monster with a nice spear. Cook-a-Hook is now closer to Aikster. Still, he did manage to salve up, so they're going to turn back around. But Cook-a-Hook is going to Earthshock his way out. The God's Rebuke not going to connect, but Eridus still on the chase. Would love a battery assault, but it is on cooldown. Both sides of this top lane are very low in HP, but both of them are going to stick around, and I suppose we're going to play a game of chicken now, see who does fall first.
Yeah, and that does give some time because the supports are top
That's a nice kick, but Cook-a-Hook, oh, he goes down. First one, they find another. That's a great kick out from Aikster, John, connecting on 2. The spear was there for Monster to follow up, and first blood plus a Clockwork. No deaths on the side of 5ManMidas.
And it's an excellent start for Monster. Not quite what you want here for Cook-a-Hook. Gonna be slower on the Ursa. Gonna offset the timing into the phase, into Battle Fury this game. And it does make it harder to get anything done. Although Esk down mid is just gonna TP in front. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Too late.
The thing is, once you actually tap the battery assault button, there's about half a second before the first tick of the battery assault comes in. So I don't think he really had a chance to begin with. Unfortunately, maybe with the cogs he could have pushed him back. So Eridus, spear, away from the bounty, will allow Monster to secure it, and now Aikster is going to try and get away from Nana, but Nana's actually taking a fair bit of damage here. Esk going to rotate in as well, does have the orb in a second, but they've already lost 2. He'll go for the orb now, back on towards Nana, but he will not actually commit. Nana did salve up, and now looks to go back in on the Viper. Esk is just going to have to back off as Boons. We'll give him a mango. It's about all the puck is going to get, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of aggression here as well from Latam defenders to keep that puck pressure to even drag Moonlight down mid in that entire time span. So the Lions around now just to help out Nana, passes on a Tango to hold that lane, and they're going to keep that pressure up. Aikster respawns, goes back down mid, trying to get the D-ward off in the sentry. Should be able to get that done fine. That does free up the side lanes a bit, so Valky is left alone to deal with that PL lane. And speaking of that PL, Lies has still been keeping up in farm. It's been tied in 23-9 up against 23-5. It is first nighttime, but doesn't feel like Valky's going to have any opportunities to really do anything beyond farming.
No, I think this is perfectly fine, right? Like, even if it is the first night, the fact that he's going to be able to farm this lane by himself safely is probably way better anyway. Because, again, I think you really do want to get to the stage where you have the Axe up, if you are Valky. And, of course, with the ulti that you will skill up in just a bit, you're going to have that nighttime anyway with more bonuses. I think it's more than suitable for him to just keep farming during this first night.
Yeah, it's just needs to build up into that point, although Moonlight is here to apply some pressure.
Yeah, as I
Boons
say
is
that,
low.
he's going to go for a kill. Boons has no way to survive. Eats the Fairy Fire, but Valky is going to dive in and get the kill. So there you go, John. He got his first kill of the first night. That'll be enough for him. Back to hitting creeps.
That's a good start, although up top, they did rotate an Esk with an Invis. They might want to make a play onto that Ursa, but Coco did get the salve up, so he's not as unhealthy.
Eridus, though, gonna get Dream caught up, and they kick him right back out into the roll. Be a nice, easy death on the clockwork, but can they deal with the Ursa now? Yes, gonna be chased down. They might just go after Extra instead, but a nice spear to make sure they couldn't get the damage in from Coco Hook. Will get out scot-free. It is only a position 5 clockwork, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's a timely rotation out from Esk paying off. You don't get the same value here for Nanana. He's just going to walk his way back mid to try and get some additional farm and saving up for the Dragonlance here in the Viper to get the stats, to get the added range, which is always helpful in that hero, and should be able to set up as well to contest these power runes at the 8-minute mark.
If they will, it'll be down at the bot rune spot of Boons. He'll be there to secure the regen rune for Esk. Be very nice for the puck. Always nice to have that regen, especially on a slippery hero like the puck, just being able to kind of kite out, get a free reset in the middle of a team fight and just come back in with full mana, full HP. Still top lane, Eridus and Moonlight moving in onto the Mars. They don't have level 6 on the clock yet, but they are still going to try and break the gap and just dive the tier 1 tower. Looks like Monster is going to be just left to die here. They TP Eskin, but it is too late. Still, he'll go for the team fight. He'll kill off the clock and maybe even cook a hook. But the enrage is going to be enough. Esk has another orb though in a second. It's not going to connect. Moonlight was ready with the Earth Spike just in case.
And that's a good trade coming out for Latam defenders, forcing the puck to respond once more. That does free up the mid lane just a bit. Eichster is going to be taking it for himself. No Viper in sight. But there's some massive stacks Nanana is clearing out. No wards, no vision, no idea from 5ManMidas that these stacks are being cleared out. And this is a huge gold injection now for our Viper. Does help to farm into the Dragonlance and keep Nanana on #1 in net worth.
Certainly so. Like Lies is actually going to be going straight into a Midas build-up on this PA, which we've been seeing a lot of Midas build-ups through Lies. I suppose it does fit the name of the team. Sometimes I do disagree with this item. It feels a bit greedy a lot of the time, but I suppose up against the draft, you are expected to go very late into the game to be able to pull off this victory, so makes enough sense that he does go for the Midas, and he should be able to get quite a bit of value out of it.
Yeah, it's going to be coming out in a fairly decent time. At least it's going to be up ahead, of course, in the Battle Fury. So your PL should have moments where that steady farm, that steady EXP can allow him to build up a lead. Looks like he is saving for the SNY next, which is nice. I do still personally prefer the Diffusal, but we'll see how that pans out, as there is a smoke here from 5ManMidas on Esk and Boons.
I'm trying to use Monster to bait. Might be a little bit obvious though, as nobody else is showing on the map. And it seems as though Latam defenders are very well aware that there is a smoke occurring right now. Scan does come out, not catching anyone. The Radiant scanning that triangle, but rather the tree line behind the tier 1 tower to see if anyone's ready to defend, but that's not going to be the case. I mean, you just settle for the tier 1 tower here, and I think Latam defenders, there's no real need to try and defend. They could just trade the bottom tier 1 tower, and that should be just perfectly fine as well. Looks like Valky already in position to make that happen. And of course, you've even got the pressure there from Nana in the mid lane with that Sage creep. That mid tier 1 is definitely not what 5ManMidas want to trade with right now. Shot. Be right onto the park. X is out as well, but a nice rolling from Aegster, making sure they don't have the follow-up damage and a pause. Well, luckily for me, John, I don't have to answer that question because we're ready to go now. Pause time is over just on time. The Viper connects right in the nick. And there we go. So where were we? Esk is about to die. Burns is going to save his life, and Moonlight is the one to go down as Eridus also dies. It ends up leading to 2 supports dying on the side of the Latam defenders. 5ManMidas able to get something out of that huge pause.
Yeah,
that should be enough.
Unfortunate for Latam. They lose their 2 heroes. They didn't get the finger off. They didn't find that puck pick off. So good saves coming out from 5ManMidas. Enough time to respond, of course, as Latam defenders do hold on to a 1k lead. So they're not doing too bad at all. And they're still finding that pressure down mid. Nighttime is going to come out in 3 minutes. So Valky's not going to have as much presence before then, but he has the Dark Ascension.
They have caught out Burns. Nice little kill on the Oracle. It's like Valky's just going to straight rush the BKB here on the Night Stalker, and that's also fair enough. Be able to get active very, very early as S tries to go for the tier 1 deny, but doesn't quite get it. Nana still able to secure that tier 1 mid tower. It's going to be a very dangerous time now for 5ManMidas losing that mid tower. Map opens up, and while Lies did get up the Midas now, it gets very dangerous, especially while Dark Ascension is available to use.
Yeah, you don't really want to be caught outside now. You need to get some good wards down to keep that vision game up. They do scout out Monster with a flare. Should be an easy kill if he does get found out here.
Oh, and he does. Aaron is going to run straight into him, gets the cogs off. Nowhere to go. He'll try to drop the arena, but the jump in from Cook-a-Hook. Now Monster's just going to run the other way and try to get out. He'll snipe the courier of the Clockwork. Can he really get out of this? He's going to run towards the right side of the map and run through the tree line where Nana will come in as well, just in case. This is a lot of time being created here by Monster. He'll keep running towards the north and forces out the hook shot as well. And they will finally get the kill. It's all 30 seconds used up though.
Yeah, just a lot of time being bought out. And of course, with hook shot down, it's a bit of a window where you don't have to worry about the Clockwork. You get a rotation out here. Latam defenders tying it up 6-6. I do say, though, it has been a bit of a slow game for Moonlight. Still waiting for that blink out. We need to see the finger fly out. They did try that one time in the triangle before the pause. Didn't pay off. I think they need to try again. When you have a line, you have to play around those initial fingers very well. And if you don't, it does feel like you miss out on a major power spike in the hero.
Oh, Valky, maybe even too far forward on that Night Stalker. Dream Call is available to use. Aegster going to roll right in with the kickback and the spear. They still haven't killed off the Night Stalker though. He is alive and well. He'll break the coil and he will survive as he backs out and maybe just comes back in. But the Magnetize causing a lot of problems. But a nice Earth Spike there from the Lion to hold them back. And Valky, throughout all those spells, is still alive.
It's the value of that early Hood of Defiance on him. So tanky, very hard to rip through. And just imagine what happens when he does have that BKB. You won't do any damage to him at all beyond the right clicks. So gonna have to watch that timing here from Latam defenders. There is a bit of a timing here on the side of 5ManMidas. Yule's up on Monster, so he can set up for the Yule Spear now. See if they find that opening as Latam is also smoked up.
That they are. Burns, his smoke breaks. Rocket Flare should make it obvious that they are coming into the triangle, but Lies, he ran back for the large cap, and it may cost him as the hook shot and Crippling Fear is going to be there into the Hex and the Finger. Just make sure the PL dies. They found another. Yules into the Spear there on the Night Stalker, but he is just so darn tanky. They aren't even going to bother trying to go on Valky.
And they get the big pick-off they want. With that smoke, Latam defender is going to be very happy with that. They also have stalled out long enough that the Battle Fury's up in Cook-a-Hook, and that was a very well-timed Dark Ascension. Fades into nighttime. So Valky is still pretty strong, even without that flying vision and movement here.
He's going to go now into Burns, who does get spotted there for a second. I mean, Monster could try to spear away Valky, but I think Valky can just continue the chase. Crippling Fear will come out just in case. Arena is going to be dropped. They might try and turn this one around, but Boons, False Promise will be there. He buys more time as Aridus. He's going to get low, and now the Dream Coil does come in. They get the Clockwork, but can they kill off the Night Stalker? It looks like they just may, and they do get him. Banana still going on to Monster. Fate's Edict going to block off a lot of that magic damage, but Hook is going to Earth Shock his way in and does secure the kill on the Mars. All things being said and done, not actually too bad for 5ManMidas.
Yeah, they do manage to win that trade out 2 for 3 coming out. Then they managed to force a lot of spells out, so they don't need to worry about Dark Ascension still because that was expended earlier on. Finger is a really long cooldown, although that was the blink for Moonlight coming in. So they do have a way to gap close, catch out something like Esk's Puck, and keep him in check. Even the PL, if he is out without any illusions available, it's going to be very easy to target down and isolate. So you're going to have to be very cautious now with the line having that blink up. Lies, though, is just keeping his head down, keeping that farm up. Has his Yasha, and is building into the Diffusal. So Lies should be ready to go once that Diffusal is up. And the Ursa's not going to have fun with that. An Ursa with no mana is an Ursa stuck in a very bad spot. And that is going to be easy enough to manage here from 5ManMidas.
Yeah, he's got the Blink Dagger coming out very soon, though, Hook. Even the Bullwhip going to help out. Dark Ascension, once again, they aren't trying to go in onto that Mars. They've lost Boons already. Arena's going to be dropped, but it's only caught out the line as Valky goes right into the backlines after that PL, but Lies looks to be healthy for now. Meanwhile, Monster is not really that healthy, and Valky will be able to kill him off. They chase down Esk. He'll be able to orb away. Meanwhile, Aridus still chasing, trying to find another target. They were looking for the PL, but they do get an illusion. I believe that was a 1 for 2. Buyback was committed there by Boons. Hook just going to go straight for the Roshan pit. And they know without the Mars Arena, there's not really any fighting in this Roshan pit for the Radiant.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot for them to fight into. The Puck can try to steal, and so can the Earth Spirit. They just need to find an angle, but there's a lot here.
Oh, that roll in. Eggstar probably wanted to cancel that off, but it can't. He's gone. Nice easy kill, and now Valky just wants to go for more. Monster is going to try and run. Hook shot. Not going to be there. Aridus was kind of out of range anyway. They'll just go for that tier 1 top tower. Nice and easy for Latam defenders.
They take the safe objective. They've got second life up now in Hook. They've also got the blink in the Ursa, so they can kind of gap close themselves, get the follow-up damage with the Ursa, and start to build off that way. There's still a lot of space given out here to Lies. Is just lacking the recipe now for the Diffusal Blade, so about 450 gold off to finish it up. And once you do have that Diffusal again, it's going to be a hard time for the Ursa. You have to watch yourself, get as much as you can before that item's up. And once the Diffusal's up for Latam defenders, they need to be disciplined enough to just try and isolate that PL, which is easier said than done.
Valky going to just rush up to the high ground again. This is going to be very dangerous here for 5ManMidas, but they use up Valky still. Eggstar going to roll out, but Boons is not going to be so lucky. In fact, they got the Hex off mid-roll for the Earth Spirit as well. And Hook going to get a nice easy double kill. That's another tower to go down now. They are really starting to roll over this side of 5ManMidas. I mean, yeah, you look at Lies and he's still getting some farm up. You're just going to ask yourself how long before he's ready to fight with the team. They're getting picked apart. Monster and his cogs. Crippling Fear is going to be there onto the Puck with the finger out, and they do secure Esk. Monster, he's still not out of the woods either. So you do see Hook right with the blink in and the Earth Shock. Aridus doesn't have a hook, so he'll be able to walk out, but they found the more valuable target in the Puck anyway.
Yeah, and they managed to take the outpost right before the timer hit 20, so they got all the EXP as well. Coming out there on the Dire side, just a nice little boon there for the Latam defenders. And
nice
they
blink.
catch one more.
That's a great blink in from Hook, just blocking the roll, and it is going to be another one. BKB is going to come up very soon. Yules is there from Monster into the spear, but there's going to be no follow-up anyway. the PL was around, but the Glimmer Cape is available on the clock. And now Cook, he's very far forward, but he's going to just blink back the other way. And he's actually going to get away with this. Esk is not going to pop the Dream Coil. The Enrage was still available. That's it. Down to the bot tier 2.
Yep, just slow and steady, getting the split push going, just leaving Nana alone to get that done. They are going to be finding these objectives without contestation, unfortunately, as 5ManMidas is grouped up elsewhere. They are smoked up. I believe that smoke might have been scouted out by this ward up on the high ground. So there should be some awareness here from Latam defenders that something's up.
Well, at least they're fighting into a Night Stalker without Nighttime nor Dark Ascension. Counter smoke right in front. They're going to start the fight anyway. Monster, Arena, straight onto the clock, or rather Lion, just trying to blow him up. He's still alive though, but does finally go down. Everyone else is so far alive, but Nana kills off Monster on the Mars with his insane Viper range. He has a growth bow up. Still Kukuhu. He's going to go down. Loses the Aegis. That'll be enough. Esk? That's a very risky play. Trying to bait them forward, but now Valky with the Dark Ascension just turns back around, and I'm not sure what that one was about. Maybe a bit of a misclick. You just lost your mid-puck for really no reason.
Yeah, it's a pretty big win for Latam defenders. They did have to pop the Dark Ascension for that. Not a big deal at all. They get to reset for free, and any further chase out is blockable, though Eichster might find one.
Eridus, I don't think he's going to mind too much if he dies on the +5 clock. And Eggster, gotta be careful not to go too far, but he does kick back the clockwork. He'll accept the fact that he's dead. Again, not really too big of a deal, though. There's not really much that's been lost there.
Yeah, it's not the biggest kill to take. They are buying some space out for the PL to keep farming up. Lies does have the SNY now on top of that defusal, so he can be a bit more durable up front, rushing the heart next into that Ag's Shard. So he's going to have the Spirit Lance bouncing around again. And I wonder if he's going to go back. What's actually Lies who went for that build that we saw with the Aether Lens into Octarine? Could have been him as well.
It may have been. It doesn't seem so bad once you hit that level 25 mark. Having that Doppelganger CD is so much lower, but see what he does want. I mean, it feels like it will pay off up against the Ursa. Assuming you don't get caught by an Abyssal Blade before that. And speaking of Abyssal Blades, of course, Kukuhook is now farming one up on the Ursa. It's going to be a scary time. In all fairness as well, I don't really know if you want the Octarine PL this game, right? Because you have the Crippling Fear on Valky. So if he's not going to go for a BKB, is there really a point in going the Octarine core? Not 100% sure on that. Probably not.
It's really tricky for the PL to really maximize it. I think just going for this heart build first can maybe help him test the waters and see if he's going to need that additional dodge on top of the tankiness. There's still an 8k lead here in Latam defenders though, so despite the fact that Lice is finding all this farm, the rest of his cores are not. Esk has slowed down on the puck, Travels, Witchblade, 2 Null Talismans, and a Blink queued up now. So no Divine build up here for Esk. We're not going to see the triple Divine build on the puck, which is mildly disappointing, but it is more sensible for Esk to go for this, and he does have his Blink up, so easier positioning now for the puck. Could be a bit slippery to catch out, and Latam defenders will have to watch that new angle of approach now coming out from 5ManMidas.
Absolutely. Both sides just kind of avoiding each other for now. I mean, once Lias has his heart up, he is going to be a tanky boy. They are going to allow that mid-tier 2 tower to go down here to Latam defenders. They're not really going to risk trying to fight this one out, even if it's near their base. The problem is you've got another 5 minutes of nighttime now. And that gives a lot of time for 5ManMidas to continue just getting objectives or just going for the Roshan when it does spawn up. And I think eventually they might have enough time to try and pressure high ground.
Yeah, and they've got an opening here. They've got this fresh BKB still riding on Valky, and they've got the Blink now on the Night Stalker as well, so he can just blink in with a Crippling Fear, get some instant silences off, and that is going to be hard to play into for Latam defenders. They don't for 5ManMidas. They don't have any sort of BKBs up just yet. They do bail out at the right time. It's only Monster left behind, but he does have a TP this time around, so he shouldn't be under as much duress as he was last time.
Very importantly as well, he does have enough gold for the Blink Dagger on that Mars. Question is, does he bother going for that, or would he rather go for the BKB? Look for the where they're going, and yeah, it's up top lane. Esk. Was wondering why I heard the Dark Ascension. Extra, meanwhile, may be caught here as Moonlight does blink towards the right side to get the Hex off into the Earth Spike, but they need a way to block the roll. Extra trying to go for the silence, does completely whiff it. Does get the magnetized, and he's going to try and back off as Cookahawk now trying to join in. Wouldn't quite get there to block the roll. Still Valky moving in now with his BKB onto Lies. Much bigger target if they could get it. Still Doppel. They turn back around onto Valky. Crippling Peer was there, but they actually found the right target. Moonlight. It's a very nice Hex off on that Lion. And that is a PL without buyback. So high ground it is.
Yeah, this is a scary time for the side of 5ManMidas. The creep wave is still coming in. There's a little bit of a window, but not much. Double damage should fade by the time the creep wave is here, though, so you're not going to have to contend with the Ursa absolutely ripping through those objectives as fast. There's still a lot to be scared of here.
They do a fair bit of damage, and he doesn't have the Aegis. He almost dies, especially to that Witch's Blade damage from the puck. Roshan is up, though. So it was another early respawn here. Latam defenders will go and have a look, see if they can find it. Turns out it's there. So you don't get much high ground damage, but you get the Aegis. That should be a cheese as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick rush, of course, as it is an Ursa. There are still angles for 5ManMidas to approach, but they don't have vision around the pit, so it doesn't look like they're aware. They don't have the scan up as well. And should go for free. Aegis and Cheese going the way of Latam defenders. Cheese riding on Nana, of course, Aegis on Cookahawk. Does mean that it's harder to deal with the Ursa. They have enough to burst through him once. I don't know if they have enough to burst through him twice with a BKB.
Egg start, silent stop. Let's get the 4-star, but an immediate blink from Valky straight onto the Oracle. Trying to get down this Oracle to make sure there's no support plays. Meanwhile, towards the north, it looks like they aren't going to be able to catch anyone else. Less hook shot. Barely misses out on Monster. But they got the Oracle. No, they're not done. Monster still being chased down here by Valky and Moonlight. They're going to get him.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup to get. Two big heroes taken out. Without the Oracle, you're in a bit of an awkward spot in terms of your cores. They are trying to hunt down Lies.
Hook. Gonna jump in, clear out some illusions, but is gonna lose all his mana and a lot of HP there by Esper. Bash out.
Oh.
First hit bash. Cookahawk will give him the tip on top just to let him know about it. Valky now gonna go back in after the Oracle and kills off Boons again. Oh boy. First hit bash never feels good.
No, really good hits coming out from Cookahawk, and the follow-up coming out here from Moonlight was on point, getting the finger off on a big target. That does mean they could maybe set up for high ground. Cookahawk is not very healthy unless they want to risk popping that Aegis now. It looks like they will just go for the reset. Maybe wait out this MKB that Cookahawk is preemptively building, expecting the Butterfly to be next on the PL. So that could be something that they just kind of sit back, relax, wait for the farm to come in. They've also got some more tier 3 items that they haven't found. So they could just farm these camps until they get every single last piece first.
I mean, even though it's a PL they're up against, they don't seem to be intimidated whatsoever by it. Just judging by how they're playing, it doesn't seem like they really care at all, and I can't quite blame them. Monster gets a use off on Cookahawk, but understands he can't really kill him twice. It's about that time as well to farm up some tier 3 items. You already see Cookahawk sitting there with the Elven Tunic, which is going to be very nice. That evasion up against the PL. Going to pay off quite nicely here for him.
Yeah. It allows him to tank through a couple more of those hits, gives him more attacks as well, go down bot.
Dark Ascension, he's going in all by himself. Spear is going to land. Valky Not going to be able to really abuse that ulti this time. Nice back away from 5ManMidas. That's the thing, you get one kill on a hero without buyback, and you're pretty much guaranteed to go high ground if you are Latam defenders. You'll be very wary of this Night Stalker for now.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. At the least, now that the Dark Ascension fades, it is daytime, so Valky isn't as scary. The cooldown on Dark Ascension is fairly long as well, so you're gonna have to wait for it. It stays pretty long on cooldown until level 25, although there is a bit of a smoke movement out here from 5ManMidas.
Yeah, they can't stay in their base forever. Try and make something happen. Arena is going to be nice, but Valky just pops the BKB and walks away. Was his 8-second charge. Things said and done, not too bad. They do at least get a BKB charge out of him, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, I suppose. Well, out of defenders, they're getting very close to the Abyssal Blade now on Hook. That should be Q to try again for that high ground.
Yeah, they only have a minute left in the Aegis, so they have to move fast. But with that additional Abyssal, should be easier for Hook to get those hits in, to get that control off. They just need to start committing, because if they wait too long, they're going to have to wait for the next Aegis instead, and that could cause some issues. Nice pickup in the DD there by Ikester, denying that opportunity away from the side of Latam defenders, but they didn't have a ward around the area, so they probably weren't aware it was up there anyway.
They aren't going to make the play for the high ground. Aegis will expire very, very soon. Looks like they've just accepted that. Unfortunately for Lies, he's going to lose his Vitality booster, which he needs to get for the Abyssal Blade. Dream Coil going to be committed just on the line, but they have speed him up and they do roll back in. But Nana doing so much damage to this Mars. They need to back out. They can't kill Moonlight. They're going to lose 2 here. And even Valky trying to chase down Esk, and now the Abyssal Blade comes out from Hook, locking down the puck. The only man left is going to be Lies on the PL. You've got 2 buybacks available, but they may need to commit him here. And even then, I don't know if it's going to be enough to save this Rax.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. They don't have Dream Coil anyway if they buy back in the puck. It lines up quite nicely with a respawn timer, so they might as well just sit through this one, except that they will lose at least 1 Rax. They probably don't want to give 2 away, but again, without Dream Coil up, it's going to be harder to follow up there.
That'll be enough though. Mid-Rax taken. No need to overextend. You've also got an Abyssal coming out on Valky very soon. So you're going to have double Abyssal up on Latam defenders. It's going to make this PL's life and Puck's life that much harder. Even once Lies has his own Abyssal up, you question how effective he's going to be able to be. Just seems like there's so much control and so many ways to get through the illusions. 1 Hex, and you're basically just screwed.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. With all that control, just so much value from Lion having this blink. Moonlight can really set up for the team quite nicely. They do manage to at least take back their outpost. There's still a good 6 minutes until the next distribution of EXP though. So it's going to be a while until that does take effect. They at least have a TP point in their jungle. If they want to fight around that area, have to be cautious as it's about half a minute away until nighttime. Although
Valky, nice pickup. They can finish him off. He does have a BKB. Hex is out on the puck. Still a lot of damage coming out onto Valky, but he does BKB up into the Dark Ascension, straight onto the Oracle Boons. He can't get away from this. He'll die once again onto the Mars, and now the puck. And they just wipe them. It's taking so long to kill Valky, even through all these stuns. They just don't have the damage without the PL. And Lies, he's just not willing to join the team right now. He needs more farm.
yeah, he's just using this as space for himself, which, to be fair, it's starting to feel a bit greedy considering how deep 5ManMidas are committing for these pickoffs. If he just shows up, I think they have got a better chance. And I mean, there's only so much map space he has on hand right now to farm up anyway. Still, with those kills, Latam defenders can start to look to get it pushed elsewhere as well if they want to. Oh, good control, Moonlight.
Oh, Moonlight with the Hex. They even realize it's the real PL. Well, now they must, but the hook shot not going to land in time. Still the Abyssal back onto the Oracle. They get the Boon's Oracle once again. Just making sure there is no chance of a false promise. Thing is, they could have killed the PL, but it's like they just didn't believe they actually had the right one. There's the tip out. I think they realized that as well, but now Cookahawk, he's in trouble. He's going to back out with the Enrage. They are going to lose Aridus though. The Ursa just going to run away as Nana will just continue to attack away on the Viper. Now, Valky just going to jump in again after Boons on that Oracle, just wanting to burst him down, and he's going to be able to get him. Valky has been left behind and should just die here. Surely. He'll just try and waste some time, but eventually they'll get him.
Yeah, it's still a pretty big win there for Latam defenders. They force some buybacks to get some kills. On top of that, they're still ready to go if they want to. Whereas there's no arena for now coming out from Monster, about half a minute for that.
Oh,
and
another
Puck is
Hex.
pretty far away.
They've caught out Lies with that Hex. Gleipnir there as well from Nana. They're still going to be out onto the Mars with the finger there from Moonlight. He has buyback though. Tier 3 tower, it goes down to the creep wave, and the rest of the side of Latam defenders, they're just out of there. They're not willing to risk anything without their Night Stalker and the Clockwork.
And they're just playing this very well planned out 14 to 36, 29k lead for Latam defenders. They haven't been dropping their big heroes, so Cookahawk has been staying alive. Nana has been staying alive as well. 9-0 on the Viper and 10-1 on the Ursa. So the right heroes are getting protected. It's only Valky really throwing his body out on that Night Stalker, but doesn't matter too much. He's only died twice as well. Right now, what 5ManMidas need to do is play a really good high ground defense. Play with a Dream Coil. We haven't seen the most impactful False Promise here as well from Boons. Like, he's not been able to get it off. No.
Yeah, they've caught Extra again. It's very hard though, right? Because every time the Oracle does show, you see the blink in from Valky and just the crippling fear to make sure the Oracle cannot survive. It's not really like you have an Aether Lens or anything to be able to really stand back and ensure you can get the False Promise. The best he has right now is his Keen Optic, and at level 15, he'll be able to get a cast range talent, which would help, but it's a matter of whether he can actually get the XP to get to level 15.
Yeah, he's a long way off from that level point. Still level 12 on the Oracle. If he stays alive for a couple of these kills, that could give him the injection he needs, but it's a long way off. And as you mentioned, he is the primary target for Latam defenders off lane and supports to find. Still time here to farm those tier 4 items now, and Latam defenders does find all of theirs. Not quite the easy access into the jungle here for the side of 5ManMidas, so they've kind of stalled out with just 3 out of 4 of their tier 3 items. Do need some space to get their own neutrals up and running here.
Into the Roshan pit. Has already been started here. Cookahawk actually getting bashed quite a few times there by Roshan. Monster will lose his courier. Dream Coil going to be in. Monster now with the arena as well. Cookahawk going to move in, or maybe he just goes after the Roshan. Not looking great here for the Dire. They'll lose one in the form of the Clockwork, but they have to buy back the Puck. Now the PL looking like he's in danger, trying to find a way out, but the False Promise was there from Boons this time. Monster does go down on the Mars, but he's going to buy back. PL does dive through the False Promise, and Boons is also going to go down along with his carry. Now, it looks like we're about to see a dieback and a GG well played. Latam defenders do manage to make it work for game number 2. That'll be a 2-0 victory for this Dire end.
Yeah, really well played from Latam defenders. Rather unfortunate, Nana disconnected earlier on, but very kind of 5ManMidas to give them some of that pause time. They do reconnect in time and just clean up the game. 15 to 43, 38k net worth lead coming out here for Latam defenders. 5ManMidas, it looked like they had some opportunities earlier on. They were getting some good movement out with Eichster, but they couldn't manage to really maximize this Oracle pick. And we mentioned it from the draft, right? The Oracle was out there. PL Oracle, it's not the most natural combination, so the False Promises weren't really as impactful when they even came out, because Latam defenders were always throwing their bodies out to ensure Boons could not enable any of his cores.
Yeah, certainly. So just great play here from Latam defenders. 5ManMidas back to the drawing board, and I'm sure we'll see them again very, very soon. Maybe even tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure of the schedule yet, but You never know when they'll be able to pull off their victory. Still, John, with that, that is it for tonight. Bit of a long day today, but it is over now. Congrats to all the teams that did get a 2-0 victory, and of course we have the two first series ending up in a draw. And I'd say a rather exciting day, John. Some very good Dota happening.
Yeah, it's a very close matchup. This is one of the first days, of course, one of the first few days of the Pro Series, and we did get to see, upper div winners here, upper div winners there, lower div middle, lower div promotees here, and upper div relegated teams here. So it was a good cross-regional showdown, and I think the results are starting to look really nice here. A lot of teams just so competitive. The Americas are really one of the tighter regions in Dota right now.
Certainly. Of course, with that, John, we are going to head off. Of course, people are waiting to leave. We have the birthday boy. Happy birthday, Dougie. Enjoy your
Happy birthday, Dougie.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday. With that, it is MLP Dota and johnxfire. Thank you everyone for your patience today through all the pauses. And of course, we'll see you back again tomorrow for some more great BTS Pro Series action. See you then.